I'm at the cast of Rip It Up the 70s. Ahoy everybody, and welcome to another Martin Meets. On Friday, October the 4th, Mum and I went to see Rip It Up the 70s at the Anvil, Basingstoke. You may recall last year I did a video about my meet at Rip It Up the 60s, and I mentioned in that one that we also did a meet and greet at Rip It Up the 50s. Now for both of those, when we booked the tickets, it was a VIP package containing the meet and greet, and it was guaranteed front row seats with it, or front 2 rows, whichever it was, all part of the package. So Rip It Up the 70s was announced. We knew it was coming. They told us at the end of Rip It Up the 60s it would be coming. The cast that was initially announced was Lewis Smith, again, who's done all the tours and who his mum is a big fan of. Rachel Stevens, best known for being in S Club 7, and Melody Thornton, who was a Pussycat Doll and was on Dancing on Ice. Lewis and Rachel, of course, were both on Strictly. So we thought, yep, go for it again. Went to book the tickets. This time, no VIP option came up. So booked the tickets, managed to get front row, no problems. But then when we went to check out, it then gave us the option of adding a VIP or adding a meet and greet, however they phrased it, onto our tickets. So we went for that. So that was slightly different than usual. Now, with both the previous ones, we got there's been maybe a couple of dozen people in the meet and greet. They gave us programmes that had already been signed. We went up, had a little chat in front of their posters for the show sort of behind them. We had a little chat, photos, done. So that's exactly what we were expecting. With both of those, we didn't receive notification of when we had to be there until less than 24 hours before the event, which is always a bit of a panic, but always works out. This time, the show was on a Friday. We actually received confirmation on the Monday of timings, and it told us to be there for 5:15. And the meet and greet would start at 5:30, or we had to be there for 5 for 15:15. I can't remember. Doesn't really matter, does it? So we went out to Basingstoke, had something to eat, found the venue, went in, and went to there was no signs or anything, and no VIP booking, which there has been at the previous one. So we went up to the booking office desk, and there was a lady and her young daughter, already stood there chatting to them. We went up to the other lady and we said, we're here for a meet and greet. Said, yeah, we're just trying to get that sorted. Strange. Soon became apparent that the venue had been told that there weren't any meet and greets. So they'd therefore told the production that there were no meet and greets. So the production scheduled around not having meet and greets. So at the time we were meant to be having our meet and greet, they were on stage doing a sound check. They said, don't worry, it will happen, but it obviously will be a bit later, come back at 6. So he went and had another wander and came back, and when we got there, they said, yeah, everything's fine, you'll be going through. And there was me and Mum, and this lady and her daughter had come back, and we sort of looked, is it just us? Said, yeah, that's all that's been sold. So there was only 4 of us in the meet and greet. So we were taken through, so within the Anvil in Basingstoke, there's a smaller theatre, and it's literally just gone out of my brain. It's related to the Anvil. The Forge. Don't need to look it up. So within the Anvil Theatre, there's a smaller theatre called the Forge, and we were taken into there for a meet and greet. And it's sort of banks of seats, maybe 100 seats possibly, and no stage, just a flat floor that is sort of a performance area. So, very nice lady took us in, we were all chatting. Now, in the past, as I say, we'd been handed signed programmes and we were given a programme each. This time, she gave us, we had our lanyards. I would show you, but I don't know where I'll put it. And then she just gave us a programme between the pair of us, which I nearly said something, but it had all been such a hassle anyway that I didn't want to confuse things even further. And the programme wasn't signed. So I thought, okay, fair enough, we know we can get it signed. And then I thought, and I've assumed that they'd come in with a pen. So, chatting there for a bit. But it was coming up for 6:15 now. And the cast walk in. So it was the three I've already mentioned, Lewis, Rachel and Melody. Now, after we'd booked our tickets, Lee Ryan was announced for the tour from Blue, and he was in EastEnders and briefly on Strictly. He wasn't in for long. Which, I was sort of indifferent about. And then I didn't find out until after the tour had started, but they had also added to the tour as a singer Giovanni Spano, however you say his name, who was a finalist on the X Factor, and he played the lead in Bat Out of Hell in the West End and has done various other bits. Then a couple of weeks ago, a couple of weeks before we saw the show, they'd had to cancel a show due to illness, and then Lee Ryan never reappeared on the tour after that, and then it was announced that he wouldn't be joining the tour because of rejoining the tour because he'd injured himself. So, as I say, I was indifferent to him being in it anyway, so it wasn't a loss. But it meant Giovanni, Gio, as he's known, his role was sort of bumped up, so he came in on the meet and greet as well, so it was the four of them. So we sort of, Lewis came, I sort of stood up, I said hello, and because I'm sort of used to this sort of thing. Lewis came over, hugged Mum, or shook Mum's hand and hugged her, shook my hand. Gio came over to me and sort of did a man hug. Then Rachel came over and we sort of did are we going to shake, are we going to hug, are we going to shake, are we going to hug, and we ended up hugging. Melody came over and she was holding a cup of coffee and she said, sorry, coffee breath, and sort of hugged me with her face away to try and keep her coffee breath away from my face. Bless her. Had a very quick little chat, and then the guy, it was the same guy who did the photos at the last one, he sort of took our cameras, our phones, and he sort of dual-handed, and we all lined up and had our photos, and they're all pretty much the same, so I'll put one of them up here. And as you can see, I was next to Rachel, so I took that opportunity to say what I wanted to say to her, which was that I think her debut album, Funky Dory, is one of the best pop records of the 21st century. It's a marvellous pop record, particularly the first half, but even then there's some tracks in the second half of it that are really good as well. Obviously I didn't say that, I just said the first bit of it. Which she was really grateful for. You can tell the sincerity, when somebody's saying thank you and they sincerely mean it. So, we sort of finished off the pleasantries, what have you, and then moved aside so that the other pair can come over. And so they had their photos, and they wanted individual photos with everyone, which we weren't fussed about. So while they were doing that, the lady from the Anvil reminded us to get our programme signed, and they didn't have a pen with them. So fortunately Mum had a biro in her bag, but of course normally I would take a Sharpie, but expecting to be given a signed programme, I didn't bother taking a Sharpie with me, so I was really annoyed about that. But so while they were getting all their individual shots, I sort of went round with our programme and got everybody to sign it. And this is it. And then again, still while they were doing the individual shots, we just had another chat, mainly with Lewis and Gio, who are both, I mean, Lewis we've met 3 times now, and he's always been lovely, and he still is. The girls chatted with the other pair mainly, but after 10 minutes or so, you know, pretty much almost, you know, sort of one-on-one experience with them, which was really nice. Then it was sort of time for them to go off and get ready. So, you know, we all shook hands and everything again, and thanked you for coming. And Rachel specifically looked at me and said it was really lovely meeting you, which broke my heart. Yeah, and when we went through, and what was really nice, they, rather than, you know, make us leave and come back, they let us into the foyer before it opened to the public. So we were sat there in the foyer, and there's all these public at the door sort of looking in, thinking, why are they allowed in there? Made us feel very important. Yeah, and that was it. Went into the show. Show was excellent, as they all have been. The first one was very much based around dancing. It was Lewis, Natalie Lowe, the Strictly Pro dancer, and Jay McGuinness. And Jay did a bit of singing, and Lewis did a little bit, if memory serves. But it was mainly about the dancing. The second tour, which was Lewis, Harry Judd from McFly, and Aston Marigold from JLS, was more of a mixture. Still a lot of, you know, hugely focused on dancing, but having a proper you know, well, I mean, Jay's a proper singer as well, but having a singer and a drummer there, they, you know, Harry did some drumming, Aston did a lot of singing, and so it was a bit more of a split. This one was even more that the cast did the sing. They all danced, and they all danced well, but the cast did a lot more singing in this one than had been done in previous shows, if I see what I mean. But yeah, so it's slowly evolving each tour. But yeah, really good, really enjoyed it. Much deserved standing ovation at the end. Yeah, really good night. They haven't announced that there's going to be an 80s one. I'm guessing there probably will be, because this is selling out everywhere, or more or less selling out. So highly expecting to have another one next year to go to. But yes, that was our meet and greet for Rip It Up the 70s. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.